They tried to kick you where it hurts. You got up, you kept going. That was in there. I think they know the writing's on the wall. Maguire, Senior, back to Maguire. Gary Maguire for Leeds. The young hero to win the grand final again.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They do create standout brands. If any companies out there need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. Thanks as always to them, not only for sponsoring us. Reece, this list is getting bigger and bigger, by the way. Not only for sponsoring us, not only for producing, publishing, editing, everything on the new fanzine, new fanzine is coming soon. But now merchandise. Joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing stats man. Statman Reece.
I'm a stat man.
Freeze.
Hello, Reece. You are wearing, for our YouTube viewers, LotPod, official LotPod merch. You got your parcel from Chris on Boxing Day.
I did.
What have you made of it?
But it's bloody comfy. I'll tell you that. I think I've taken it off since Boxing Day. But yeah, no, loving it. Absolutely loving it. We do look like a right pair now between me and you with these on the pod.
You say that you've taken yours off. I haven't. And
I've taken it off to extent.
I think Chris gave me these two pieces on when did we do our Christmas?
It was before it was the 21st, wasn't it? Before we did that.
So yeah,
or 20th.
A week, coincidentally. A week's worth of Lot Pod. How are you? Nice Christmas.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
What did you get up to? Did you eat too much, drink too much?
Drunk too much. You know, I said on the last pod that I wasn't going to have a Christmas nap because it's just me and Ness.
Yeah.
It turns out I had a Christmas nap in front of the fire about 5 o'clock. It was lovely.
Is that because
I didn't think I'd need it, but I did.
Is that officially now you are old, or
the 30s are approaching? Is an abnormality, to be fair. Abnormality. I'm also slightly distracted because someone's put in the comments that we have the Ant and Dec look.
I'm Dec.
Is Ant the taller one?
Yes.
Right,
They're both like there's not much in it. It one of them 3'6" and one of them 3'8". Both.
Yeah.
I'll be the shorter one. Lots of people have really enjoyed the Christmas party pod, by the way.
Fantastic.
Lots of nice comments. Is this? My question is: it is still 2023, but we are reviewing Leeds Wakefield, which is the first game of pre-season. So, is this the last pod of last year, or is it the first pod of 2024?
It's interesting because actually at the Boxing Day fixture, they said for the final time in 2023, you're Leeds Rhinos. And I'm like, well, no, this is the beginning of the season for me. So,
on last year's Boxing Day pod, we said it's the first game of the new year.
Yeah, I think it is because I mean I tried not to take Boxing Day game too seriously. And normally I don't, but just with the excitement of this year and the new players, I couldn't not take it seriously because I'm really excited for the season to come. So for me, I definitely think it's the start. I certainly see it as the start of the season.
So this is the start of year 4 of the Lot Pod. Agreed.
Agreed.
4th year of the Lot Pod. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yep.
It was a bit mad for those that do follow us on X, particularly over the last couple of days, because how I saw it, Reece, was Jared O'Connor and Sam Lassoni. Did you just see that lightning, by the way?
I just saw the lightning in the background then.
Just for those on YouTube, we were just talking to Chris, who's coming on in a second. There's just the most biblical thunderstorm happening near me right now, so you'll probably see loads of lightning on YouTube. Anyway, Jared O'Connor and Sam Lasoni pretty much invited themselves on. Can I say that?
I'm going to say that we baited them on because I think I saw something about how they'd have a boxing match, and I was like, well, we'll host it. We know we're fine. We'll stream that. And then Jared, being the friend of the pod that he is,
Friend of the pod,
somehow managed to get Sam on board. So yeah, we preliminarily have got Sam Lasoni and Jared O'Connor agreed to do a pod live together.
Live together on Wednesday, the 3rd of January at 7:30 p.m. We are going to have Jared O'Connor and Sam Lasoni on the Lot Pod. That, Reese, is another reason for people to head over to our YouTube and subscribe to our channel. It's lightning again.
It's the potential to be our biggest pod ever, I think. I know we've had some legends on the. We've had some legends like. We've had some legends like Danny Maguire. We've had loads of good players on there. Yes, and Harris, but I just think these two have got a bit of character about them, especially their Twitter. They're always having a bit of go at each other on Twitter. So I'm really intrigued to see what we all have with those two.
So everyone head over to our YouTube, search the Lot Pod, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified when we do go live on Wednesday, the 3rd of January at 7:30 p.m. with Jared O'Connor and Sam Lasoni. But this is the match review panel for Leeds versus Wakefield, the Boxing Day game. Who is joining us? Reese. Kind of mentioned
We're going to have to do it
briefly.
Yep, we mentioned it briefly. It's our Chris from ACD&B. Hi, Chris. How are you?
All right, I just checked because I thought all rain were coming into me.
Chris doesn't live a million miles away from me, so prior to us going live with the pod, we were kind of waiting in the green room, as we call it, and I was asking him whether this biblical thunderstorm is heading his way because I've got it now. Have you got it now, Chris?
I think Chris does have it.
I think we've lost Chris. Reese, Leeds versus Wakefield. A bit of a shaky start, I think. What were it? 16-0. What did you make of our slow start?
Well, I said to you I would take it seriously because I think it's a really exciting point for us in the season. And I met with Chris before the game and I said, if they do a short kickoff, I will lose my shit. And I did lose my shit because we did a short kickoff straight away. And to be fair, the first one we got, and the one thing I will say about the short kickoffs is that Lachie Miller's short kickoffs were actually excellent. It was the execution of actually it was the actual execution of catching the buggers that was the issue. So yeah, we definitely had a shaking start. We conceded 2 tries with those short kickoffs, and you know what? It actually really annoyed me because I thought, come on, new pre-season. Let's stop doing this funny about with Morgan Gannon at halfback and these short kickoffs. Let's just focus on new spine, new structure, and we go and do that. And to be fair, for Wakefield, I mean, their first try was a really, really well-worked try, scored in the corner. You can't discredit Wakefield for that. And they punished us. So the first half, there wasn't really much really to take from it, I don't think. I don't know what you... I said, Chris, we were talking beforehand, Chris, how I said, if they do a short kick-off, I will lose my shit. And you text me straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, the one thing I will say, it was pretty annoying, but it was a really, really good short kickoff.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Exactly what Reese has just said.
I didn't realise Lachie Miller could kick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they were trolling us. I think they were trolling me and Reese.
Well, when we went 16-0 down, I shouted, just kick it long. And when they did kick it long, part of the South stand around me was started doing the ironic cheers and stuff. And we didn't see one again, did we? After we were 16-0 down.
No. Yeah,
Ollie Warman in our YouTube comment says, I can't be dealing with these short kickoffs again this season. Maybe Ollie, they'll be here, maybe they won't. Just on to, so it was a 16-0 to Wakey, so it was a shaky start from Leeds. But a lovely grubber kick from Miller through for the Roberts try, Chris. Just on Miller's performance, obviously it was his first run out for Leeds. What did you make of Lachie Miller, Chris?
he was just trying too hard.
Mm.
I think out of all the pre-season stuff I've seen, he seems to have built it all up to be really excited about playing.
Mm.
And I think he just tried loads of stuff that didn't come off. There were some flick passes. He threw an intercept pass, which, if it hadn't been intercepted, would have been a great pass. I think he was just trying too hard. I think he's admitted that himself.
Yeah.
Second half, he came out a lot more composed. There's some skill in there.
Oh yeah.
I think people are probably thinking he's faster than he is because he's not like Jai Field where he's fast over 100 meters, but he's quick off the mark. Like when he created that kick, he was skipping across.
Yeah, ran across the line.
Yeah, and the defense was hesitating because what were he going to do? And then that kick was just glorious. I didn't realize he had that in him. So it wasn't the best debut you're going to see. What I was trying to take out of it with all the debutants was kind of what can I see from him?
Yeah,
I wasn't after a complete performance, but what are they going to bring? And are they better than the person that they're replacing? And I would say that he's better than Myler.
Yeah, just a bit.
So I think he'll cause a lot of problems.
Do you agree with that, Reese? How did you see Lachie Miller's debut on the Boxing Day?
Yeah, it was definitely a missed bag. I think he caused a penalty earlier on. He knocked the ball on. There was the interception. But as Chris has said, his creativity for the try was brilliant because the play was dead at that point when Lachie picked the ball up, and it was his ingenuity. He spotted where he wanted to go. And I'll tell you what, his footwork is quite impressive. He's very light and quick on his feet, and I think that will cause some problems. But the kick through to Lewis Roberts was brilliant. It was inch perfect. It was really well read. He created that space, and it was well read, to be fair, really well read by Roberts to pick it up and score the try. I thought Roberts played well, actually. But then in the second half, he definitely stopped trying to do too much on his own and just played his part as part of that structure. And his timing at coming into the line, I think he was involved in at least one of the tries in the second half, most definitely. But his timing of coming in the line at the right point, taking the passes from Froley and creating was much, much better. So the first 20 minutes of the second half was much more composed.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to big it up too much, but it was a bit. It was like something that we've not seen since we had Brent Webb. Knew exactly.
Wow.
Knew exactly
This is Lockpod bigging it up now, Chris.
Not how he plays, but when he chose to come into the line.
Yes.
So I think as centres and wingers are going to score a lot more tries this year.
Definitely.
Perhaps not because of him, but because of another guy that we'll obviously get onto. Yeah. So yes, some good signs from Miller, but even though he was just trying too hard, which it's a friendly, isn't it? I think we can all read far too much into it.
And we will. And we will. Do you agree with that, Reese, in that Miller's offering something that's been missing since Brent Webb? Because I think Myler kind of did it had elements of that kind of Brent Webb attacking game in his game, but Miller to me seems to be that superstar like Brent Webb who can come to the line, who, like Chris said, when he gets the ball in his hands, the opposition defence are thinking, what is he going to do here? And especially now that, because I think it's certainly surprised me and it surprised Chris. I think it surprised that kick through. So now that some of the sides have seen that he's got that element to his game, there's a lot of surprises in there as well.
The other kicking as well. I think it was a Matt Shaw article. He was watching one of the pre-season training sessions, and it was Lachie Miller that was doing some massive bombs, and he was saying, like, even Matt Shaw was like, "Whoa, I didn't expect him to have that." So there's definitely sides to the game that we haven't seen. I think his footwork is something that we haven't seen at fullback for a long time. I'm actually really excited about what he can do in a bit of open space and what he can create. And that, I think, because I've watched Sevens quite a bit, and I attempted to play it when I was younger. I can see that. I can see that journey from him where the Sevens comes in. But it's mixed bag from him. But the signs are there to show that I think we've made the right decision at number one.
Croft, Froley, Miller, Chris. That we're just talking about Miller there, but those three in that spine. There's a lot for Leeds fans to look forward to there.
Yeah, well, I know Andy Ackers got man of the match, which probably rightly so, but there's a lot of people going to eat the words with Matt Froley.
Are you talking about me?
Whoever bagged him, whoever were bagging him, he got tons of stick.
God, I hope so.
He looked all class.
Wow.
And
really composed, wasn't it? He didn't do anything electrifying because he didn't need to do it. But
not at all.
His distribution was class. He took it to the line. His passing for, I think it was Alfort's first try. It was beautiful, quick hands from that bit. He was involved in another, I think at least another try. It was very composed. But then also his kicking. I think there was one kick again that he put it right on the spot on the try line, really high, and we got a goal line dropout from it. Yeah, again, it's something that we haven't seen.
We've been missing that. But what he did, he didn't do anything flashy, like Reece said. But nearly all his contributions were class and the right contribution. We've been missing that. It's sort of what Caesar should have been.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how Croft sits with him. But I was super impressed with Froley. And I think
with Froley though, he doesn't need to be electric, does he? He doesn't need to have the flashy bit because he's got Miller to do that. He's got Brody Croft to do that. Him being measured and composed probably works in that system. And Ackers can be a bit of both. And we saw what Ackers could do from dummy half. Because he was the one that really turned the game on its head in about 5 minutes in that second half. So to him having that controlled, composed head, as Andrew's saying in the comments, that game management, that kicking stuff, let everyone else do the flashy stuff. Yeah. We need that cool head.
And we haven't had that for a while, have we? So it's sort of, and I don't know whether you saw the behind the game thing. He was the one giving the halftime talk.
Yeah,
so and
there's a lot of people. There was another article I saw as well that the thing that Ryan has been most impressed about is his coordination in the structure of the attack in terms of telling where people to be. Yeah. Well, so I know Ackers got the man of the match, and we'll come on to Ackers, but I think Chris is right. I think Froley was my biggest takeaway.
And that's something that, like Chris says there, that's something we have missed, that game management, where if they're giving Froley that kind of lead, Croft can then play off the back of that, and Miller can, and Momorovsky and Ackers, and there just seems to be so much positivity in those spine positions. Do you think then, Chris mentioned it there, but that combo, Chris, of Froley and Croft, it's a bit of a mouth-watering one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Croft because he will do the flashy stuff.
Yeah,
and I think there'll be a really good partnership. Froley will be immense for Jack.
Yes,
yeah,
because he'll just mentor him. So I like to see, because I was a scrum half myself back in the day, and I like to see a scrum half that's composed.
Yeah,
he did take the line on as well, so it wasn't as though he wasn't just distributing.
He wasn't just shipping the ball, was he? He was getting the ball, running it to the line, and really biting it in. But,
like I said,
biting the defender in.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and I'd discount the first 30 minutes because we were all over the shop. And the other thing, just to mention about them, that first, well, throughout the game, really, we were really light up front, so we weren't going direct. So there were nothing to play off the back. So I think that once the started saying, right, let's just go direct. Both him and Ackers were class.
Yeah.
It seemed a totally different side to me.
Yeah.
It seemed like I know the short kickoffs and that, but the actual, when we got into the game, the structure and the shape we were throwing was a different side to me.
Did it feel really new to you as well, Reece? Did you feel like it was another page turned and another fresh start?
It was certainly what I was hoping to see. Like I said, we're not going to get carried away off one preseason game. Well,
yes, I am.
But it was certainly what I was hoping to see. For the reason why, again, I took Boxing Day seriously because I wanted to see that new spine play, and and that was 3/4 of the new spine, and I wanted to see that structure. And there's times this year when I was watching the game, I was like, you can't see the structure, you can't see what we're doing, and the options were there. Whereas in that 10, 15 minutes after the second half, the structure was really, really evident and the style that we're wanting to play. So it was much more what I've wanted to see.
There's
and I hope to see more of it.
There's two reasons why you can see that why the structure was better and how we were playing. Daryl also scored 2 tries. Because
straight away, that tells you everything you need to know.
They got the ball to the winger in the correct way and at the correct time.
And he scored twice.
He didn't drop it neither.
He wasn't giving that. He wasn't giving that first try, was it? It's the only one. I think he broke through and he could have given it inside. I was like, no, I'm having this. And to be fair,
I think Lachie Miller were a bit desperate for a debut.
Yeah, he was.
Alfords were like, no, the amount of stick I've had, mate, you can wait your turn.
To be fair, the finish for Alfords' second time was a bit fanatic. Well, a bit nice little dive in the corner. So.
I was going to jump on to Andy Ackers, but since we're talking about Alfords, do you think it's obviously Daryl Alfords got 2 tries? Do you think Reece, it's a case of new season, fresh start for Daryl Alfords? You know, not just for Daryl, who did have let's be honest, a nightmare of a season last year, but for the whole squad, like Chris says, in a fresh new squad environment.
I certainly think it's for the whole squad. I've still got my reservations about Daryl because yes, he scored the 2 tries, but swiftly after that we received the kick and he passed it to Riley Lum, and Riley Lum had a player 2 meters in front of him, and I don't know why he passed it, and everyone's going, oh my god, that, and that's the problem. If Daryl can finish, and that's fine, do that, but just there was little moments like that just made me nervous. But I think you are right in general context. I know Paul saying you didn't do that much wrong in the comments, but there was that pass which was quite dreadful. Poor Riley Lum. But he took his tries. He took the second one particularly well. It is a fresh page for everyone, but I think Daryl's got a lot more to prove than others if that's going to be the case.
Do you agree, Chris?
Yeah. From what we've seen, there's other people that can slot in on the wing that would probably be above him now. I don't. Alfords is a problem if he's playing 20 games a season.
I agree. That's more of a squad problem.
No, I can't see him doing that this year. Yes. But then again, if he can finish tries like that and we can set them up, then I ain't got that much of a problem if he's 3rd or 4th choice winger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But he did finish that second try well. But my point being, I can't remember him last year getting those opportunities. Both as wingers, to be honest, all the wingers were underused because there was no structure bringing them in. And just sort of jump ahead to talk about somebody that's not a new player is Cam Smith was playing really direct.
Yes. Captain Cam.
Yeah, and so much better for it.
God, his mullet was fantastic as well. It was really bouncing when he was running. It was when you see him running for that, when you get him for that try when he's supporting Ackers, you can just see his mullet bouncing behind. Oh, just a thing of beauty.
I'd love to have that mullet. I'd love to have hair. On to Andy Ackers. He did get man of the match. And again, talking about Cammy there, a lovely break to set up Cammy for his try. What did you make of Andy Ackers, Reece, on his Rhinos debut? Seems to have added a lot already.
I was trying to think about how much he did in the first half, and I can't really put my finger on it.
Did any player in the first half apart from Miller with the kick?
No, probably not. But Jack did a good kick in the first half, which they defended, which Hanley caught on the line. But no, I think that he really turned the screw from dummy half on in that second half on Boxing Day, and it was great to see. It was great to see a bit more of the running 9 that we've been missing. I think that's part of the game that Jared can develop. And to be honest, Jared had a really good game coming on at 13. He was running properly hard, and he played really well. And I think Jared will really benefit from Ackers because that element of the running game that Ackers did, choosing when to do it at the right time, turned the game really. Do
you agree, Chris?
Yeah, it's all class. There's a shout for him for being best hooker in league, I think
he is.
I'd have said that last year, even before he signed for Leeds. Forget about the first half. Obviously, they were told in the second half, like, get your asses in gear and play direct. And he just tore them apart. I know it's only Wakefield. Just on Wakefield, they looked well drilled.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah.
look like...
Oh, Wakefield will romp the championship if they play
They
anything
won't,
like that.
they
for
won't
the
lose a
40
game
minutes.
next year. Yeah, they'll win the lot.
Ackers just tore them apart. And I don't know whether people noticed, but his distribution...
Yeah, Andrew's just said that in the comments. I know. I noticed that actually. His actual
floor, it's straight to where they need it. Yeah, I know we're waxing lyrical about the new signings, but yeah, he was worthy of his man of the match, apart from another signing. But we'll get on to it. But he's going to be class. He'll be England hooker. So again, we've got to look at who's he replaced. Well, essentially, he's replaced Lehman.
Yeah.
He's a better hooker than Cruz Lehman.
Jared O'Connor's a better hooker than Cruz Lehman.
Well, what I think we'll see from Jared is a bit more of what he did. On Boxing Day, he was solid at 13.
Yeah.
But did you notice him at 13 as well, though? He was taking the ball to the line, and as Cammy would do, and was making those passes as well.
Yeah.
He was actually really involved as a 13 in that attacking structure. So I think Jared's going to be a really good utility player. Maybe one to put him on a hooker to give Ackers a rest, or marshal defence, because Jared's quality of being a defensive nine is brilliant.
Yeah.
But equally, if we need to give Cam 20 minutes rest so he can come back on refreshed for the final 20 minutes, I think Jared's use is going to be won't be as high as last year, but he'll play a massive part.
No, and I know we all thought he'd be the number 9 this year, but if you get Andy Ackers, he's going to be...
of course, yeah.
So, but he's a massively useful player to have on the bench, because as Reece just said, he can come on at 9 if Ackers needs 10 minutes. And then if Cam wants 10 minutes off, he can actually play second row at a push. And he were whacking some of them, wasn't he? He were rushing out.
He's got a great defence. He's got great.
There were no passive defence neither. I don't know whether anyone noticed that. People, as fans were going mad last year, there was no passive defence. We were actually quite aggressive, especially when Jared came on. He was whacking a few of them. I think
Jared leading the defence, friend of the pod.
I just think we've got good options, and the squad's just miles better.
Oh,
for me,
without a doubt. One of the biggest things I like about friend of the pod, Jared O'Connor, is he seems keen to develop no matter where he's played. It's like Rowan came in and said, "I know you're a loose forward second rower, but you're going to be a hooker." So he's like, "Right, I'll be a hooker." He becomes very slowly the first team hooker, and then for this game that we're discussing now, Rowan says, "Andy's here, so you'll be spelled there, but I also want to spell you at 13." And it's like, well, just put me wherever you want.
Well,
I'm going to play to the same standard.
He's learning, isn't he? So that if we look at last year when he were playing first choice hooker, he'll learn so much from that, especially defensively, because it's a difficult position to play defensively. He's just really valuable to have on the bench. Really valuable. So, but Ackers, he is all class.
Absolutely class. Chris mentioned earlier about Froley being a massive, bit of a mentor to Sinfield, Reece. Jared's got a similar deal with Ackers.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Same that
as I've said earlier. Yeah, as I said earlier, I think, there was, again, I'm going to reference another article, the one of the players that was at the last player to leave when they were doing all their individual training, the last one was Jared. And Jared was practicing his kicking in attack. And this was a Matt Shaw article. And again, those little elements of Jared's game that are missing, because we've got to remember Jared wasn't a natural hooker before he came into the role really a year and a half ago with Rowan. Those little bits that become more natural to Ackers are where Ackers can help him. So, yeah, I think it's only going to be advantageous for Jared. And you've got to remember, at the end of the day, Jared's still a young lad. He's got plenty of time in rugby league, and he's got plenty of number of time to get that number 9 shirt back.
He's really good looking as well.
Number 9 shirt.
Jack Sinfield started in the halves with Matt Froley. What did you think of Jack's performance, Chris? Scored a nice drop goal.
Yeah, he got a big cheer for that. We've been crap at drop goals. It's not the game to judge him by, really, because him and Froley are probably too similar, but he looks to have gone up another gear, looks more assured. My issue, I mean, I'm more than happy in being third choice halfback.
Yeah.
Not got an issue. His defence can sometimes be a bit off.
He was at fault for that second try because he jumped out the line, didn't he?
He jumped out the line and he's just got a bit to learn on that. So I'm hoping maybe he gets. Is it Halifax? We've got dual reg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just give him a few games when he's not playing, and keep him playing against proper professionals. I don't think the reserves is doing him much good, personally. But his progression, you can see it. He looked a lot calmer. His kicking game was good. He set up the last try. It was sublime little piece of play.
Yeah. It was.
When he did it, I'm like, wow. Didn't expect that from him.
I was a bit surprised when I saw that from Jack because it's not something we've seen at this level before, and I think in a kind of weird way, he looked more confident with the other kids. With the other kids, 18-year-olds, the other reserves and academy lads. He looked really confident when they came on, but his try was incredible. The setup for Nicholas Watton was incredibly well set up. Obviously, a drop goal was nice, and that was just a nice little, just clever thing to do. 6 points up with 10 minutes to go, opportunity for get a drop goal, just nice to do. But he also did a fantastic kick in the first half, really high, which Hanley took. It was actually well defended by Wakefield. Yeah. So we're certainly seeing the progression with Jack. But I think you're right. I think the reserves or the academy has done him good. But he now needs to go take that. He needs to get more experience at that next level. I mean, he's played 11 matches in Super League now, so he has been getting that experience. But I think he just needs to keep developing.
Yeah, but like I say, say if Croft or Froley are injured for a few weeks, I have no issues with him being third reserve.
Yeah, no. And he made 6 out of 7 kicks, and the 7th kick he hit the post.
Yeah, he's kicking well. If he can't kick, he's learned from the best.
It's gone majorly wrong.
Yeah, Kevin, what have you been doing?
Yeah, but yeah, I think we'll see more of him, and no qualms about him being third choice. Because with Myler leaving, we were all a bit, because he would have slotted in at halfback if we'd have needed.
He'd have been.
I was a bit like, are we short? I don't think we are, especially when you look at some of the kids.
Yeah.
And
the final debutant, I think, of the new signings. By that I mean the new signings. Mikhail Gudamond scored a try. What did you make of his performance, Reece? Am I right in saying he played at prop?
Yeah,
prop.
Yeah, played at prop. I think he got about a good 50, 60 minutes in the end. Absolutely excellent. I don't really think he put wrong all game. He was running in hard. He made the yards. He scored his try. He worked really hard. I think that's an excellent squad player there. I don't think he put a foot wrong. Chris, I can't think of anything that he did wrong. To be honest, I was really impressed with him actually.
Yeah, biggest. I was most impressed with him out of all of them because I didn't even have any expectations. But he's small for a prop, but the graft he put in again. Let's look. He's replaced Tetivano, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say he's better. I think Eddie will as well.
Yeah. You don't know my thoughts on
his work rate was immense. Like, didn't shirk any. I can't remember him missing a tackle. He was.
I think good.
Go on. Sorry.
Gudamond's advantage is he hasn't got the size, but he certainly had the fitness, didn't you? In terms of the work rate, as you said, he was working hard in defence and attack, and he won't. I don't think he'll run anyone over, but I don't think he'll take a step back either.
Contact, Reece.
Yeah, hey, it's important.
You know you love that.
Important.
Does he drop in then as a prop? Do you think Rowan's kind of specifically signed him to be a prop, or more of a kind of drop in as and when required between second row and prop?
I think he's going to play between the two positions.
Yeah.
Is he similar?
and-
Is it similar to the Sam Walters type? You know, kind of one position one way, one position and the next.
I think if anything, it gives us healthy depth at prop because it technically means now I think we have 5 or 6 props. It adds competition. You know, it puts pressure on the likes of Sangare and Holroyd and you know, Holroyd to keep his place at the starting lineup, but the Sone, it certainly gives us depth because we know that at some point our props will be injured or banned. I think we've got quite a lot of second row depth as well. It's difficult. I'm not sure what he's been sold in terms of playing time. Whilst he was excellent, I thought he was really, really good. I'd be interested to see where he fits in that bench. I think for the moment, that bench for me looks like Jared, Lasone, Gudemond, and that 4th spot is open really to flex depending on the nature of the team we're playing.
Yeah. I think
Chris, yeah.
he played mostly at prop at Catalan. I think he played at 13 as well at some points. I was just super impressed. You need someone like that. You need somebody that's going to graft, and he ran hard. He was available all the time. Really, I was really impressed with him, and I didn't expect anything.
He's going to cause a problem though because we've got second row depth. I mean, we've got Reece Martin, who should be playing second row this year, not centre. But you've got Reece Martin and James Bentley, McDonnell, Gannon. You know, 2 players are missing out there in the starting lineup. Where and maybe if I'm saying that Gudemond's on the bench with Lasone and Jared O'Connor, someone like Gannon or McDonnell might be missing out, or Bentley might be missing out a game. So I think it's at that. Whilst the size of the props isn't as good as we probably want it to be, I think we're very well covered in the pack. And hopefully, if we're going for more of a work rate style pack, I think we're covered quite well.
Yeah. It's just good to have that competition, isn't it? Because, like you said, none of them are guaranteed to get in. So they're all going to have to up the game, really. So it's, but yeah, really impressed. He'll be a really good addition.
And it is an improvement on Zenta Ivano and James Donaldson. So we have to.
Yeah, I mean,
in that kind of slot.
Dono won't play hardly this year unless there's a massive injury crisis. We've signed him because we're a decent club and give him that testimonial, haven't we?
Yeah.
He won't play much.
No.
Gudemond's like, he's got all the heart of James Donaldson, but he's a better player.
Yeah.
So
a lot better.
That's a really good way of describing it, actually, I think.
A lot better. There were a lot of youngsters playing in this game. Lots of comments online that I've seen online this week about how it was only really when these youngsters came on that the game changed in a positive aspect for Leeds. We saw both McCormacks, I believe. Is it Ned and Fergus? Both?
Ned and Fergus, yeah.
What did you make of those two, Reece? Because these two seem to be, they're already in the spotlight because they seem to be the next two with sky high potential to be the next stars for Leeds. What did you make of Ned and Fergus?
Well, they're bound to be good because they went to a very good school where other rugby talents have come from, like myself. I didn't see much of Ned, and I think that's because Ned was on the far side of the pitch to the south stand, and I'm not sure he was as involved in the game. Fergus, however, I did get a chance to see quite a bit of.
Sorry, Rich. Fergus came on at 6, and Ned came on the wing. Is that right?
Yeah, centre wing, I think it was. Yeah, so Fergus, which is the younger of the two, I believe, he came on at standoff to took the 6 role, and I'm incredibly excited about what he could bring. I saw one comment online that there was a bit of Sam Tonkins about him in terms of how he stepped in his feet, and I kind of see that. There was 2 things that he did. There was one where I think he just took a bit of a step and he made about 10 meters, and it was easy for him. And the other thing he did, he took a really excellent kick on an early tackle the ball grubbered right onto the try line. He forced to 6 again. And it was just that little clever play as well. I was really excited about Fergus. He's got absolutely immense potential, I think.
Do you agree, Chris?
And him and Jack sit really nicely together in terms of the style of players. Again, Jack looks like he might be one of these players that just does the basic stuff really well, controlled and measures, a bit like Froley and Brody. And Fergus is Brody. Just leave him to do what he can do best.
It's just that classic 6 and 7 combo.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Chris, about Fergus?
Yeah, I didn't really notice Ned much, but they all look same. A lot of these young kids, I didn't know who the hell they were.
Well, it didn't help that they also had like other numbers on. Like Riley Lunn was wearing 2, Jack Smith was wearing 3. I knew Alfie Edgell was Alfie Edgell because he was wearing 29. So I was like, right, okay, that's Alfie Edgell. But there's all these other kids wearing first team numbers, and I'm like, which ones are they?
All with the same haircut.
All with the same haircut, yeah.
Fergus looked class. Never seen him play before. Real one for the future. The kids in general looked unbelievable. I was so impressed. I do watch Academy and Summit Reserves now and again, but I don't really follow it. Finally, we look like we've got some real class.
No, and the club sound excited about these couple of players. I thought Tom Nicholson-Watton, he added something when he came on. There was a really good injection of pace, I thought, when he came on the pitch.
I think he'll play quite a few Super League games this year. He looks ready to me. He's another one that's going to put pressure on that prop spot, and especially on the bench as well. But I thought he did right. Yeah. I thought Riley Lunn played well. I text you going, he needs to bulk up. But I don't think he took a step back when he took it into contact at all. I think he was supporting Lewis Roberts as well when he made that break, and there was a miscommunication because I think Riley stepped on the inside and Lewis still thought he was on the outside. Yeah.
But I think what impressed me most about the kids was that we were winning. Well, I think when most of them were on the pitch, we were winning by 6 points, and it takes a lot to close out a game and just finish it off. But to actually go a next level, increase that lead, make it even better, and dominate, really. They didn't even look out of place in defence either. I think that was probably what was the most impressive thing about them.
Yeah. Andrew's just put Littlewood looked good. I'm glad he said that because I couldn't remember his name. Yeah.
Number 11. Yeah.
Looked strong. Looks really strong. But Jack Smith looks a proper athlete.
He played the full 80, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looked good. Which gives us that depth because obviously we've got Max Simpson turning coming back as well, hopefully in the next week and month as well. So but it was great. It was great to see Jack play because I haven't seen a lot of Jack play, but obviously he got his interception try and took that really well. Yeah. But I think he was I think it was only him and Jack Sinfield, I think, that played a full 80.
I think so, yeah. It was just really encouraging because, like I say, you see bits of them now and again, but and the Wakefield side, they had some youngsters as well, but
yeah,
they were playing against a decent Wakefield side at some point. So they were playing against proper players. It wasn't as if they were playing Wakefield's academy players. And they just like you say, they could have easily lost that game when all the kids were on, and would have probably gone, well, that's fine. They're just kids, aren't they? Which is what happened last year's Boxing Day game.
Yeah.
But they looked like they could have carried on scoring.
Yeah. No, I think they could have done. So the Boxing Day fixture, just moving on, we have lost Eddie because I think the Storm has finally hit Brighouse. Has moved or hit it hard even. Boxing Day fixture's been going on for 20 years now against Wakefield. One of the questions that Eddie was going to ask was, should leagues look to change the opposition for future Boxing Day games? Do you like the Boxing Day game, Chris?
I love it, yeah. I love it. I've seen a few people sort of say, why don't we give the players the time off? And I can get that, but end of the day, there were nearly 10,000 people there.
Yeah, I think the club missold that a bit because I thought they said they were going to get over 10,000, but it was only 9,500 in the end. Yeah. But it's still a very good crowd. Still more than we got for Challenge Cup against Wigan.
Yeah, it depends. I think the Leeds count people that have bought tickets and not turned up, or do they count actual attendees?
I don't know.
The only reason I say that is when I bought my ticket, there was none available around me.
Right.
But there was loads of seats available when I was sat there. So, but I suppose either way, that's a healthy crowd and a lot of revenue.
I think it's a lot of revenue. It's good for the club. I think there's a lot of history in that game now, so I wouldn't want to change it. You've almost set tradition in history now and a thing. So, and I don't think it's broken, so there's no need to change it. I think Wakefield are a good opposition. I mean, they brought a really healthy crowd as well, which I think is obviously a good barometer of how they're feeling as a fan base as well.
Yeah, just a word on them. They were brilliant. They brought loads, didn't they? And they were all in good
Yeah,
shape.
they probably brought more than they did in the Super League this year.
And fair play to them. They got to see a good half where they were beating us. So, I think it definitely should keep it. And I'd keep it with Wakefield. I don't see the need to sort of change it. And I know we as fans probably take it, like we talked about this, it's like it's hard not to take it that serious, but it is just a run out, isn't it? And when it's nice weather like it was, it's just nice to get out, and we got a glimpse of these new players, and the kids got a go. So I think it's less serious than the other sort of pre-season games.
Yeah,
it gets
definitely
the biggest crowd.
Yeah, definitely is. Looks like we haven't got Eddie coming back. So before we close the pod today, thank you, Chris, again, very much for your time. Obviously, thank you for the hoodie and the snapback as well. I'm going to leave you all with a top tip for Headingley, which is please do not go to the bar at the back of the East Stand and buy a bottle of Carlsberg Light or Pilsner in the bottle. Absolutely dreadful. Just stick to the draft in the bars. As we've mentioned previously, we have Jared O'Connor and Sam Lasone coming on the podcast on January the 3rd, I believe. I think that was the date we said earlier. So make sure you tune into that. Also, please make sure you follow myself, the Alden Fleece, and Eddie on the Lot Pod on Twitter, not X, because I'm doing the close for once. And make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. We will be back with that very special episode with Jared and Sam Lasone. And then we'll also be back to review the future pre-season games as well. See you later.